In this module, you will learn how to use the Carousel Component. The Carousel Component allows you to display a selection of rotating images with a title, brief description, and link to an associated story, event, program, or project page elsewhere in your site. The component displays a series of images that slide or fade out one at a time in an order that you specify. Clickable controls also let visitors cycle through the display pages on demand. Clicking on the title link takes you to that page. Note, you can also set the carousel to display videos instead of images, and this could be useful when there is a featured video for the associated story, event, program, or project page. The best time to use a carousel component is when you have a set of featured pages with images that you want to display from another page. The carousel component typically resides on your site's homepage, but it can be placed anywhere on your site. The first step is to identify the pages that your carousel component can draw its images and descriptions from, and set the page properties accordingly. If you don't already have pages, you will need to create a new one, and I'll go over that later. Let's head over to the WCM, and there you find the page that you would like to link to the carousel. I choose Fairtrade Coffee, so I click on our story, and I double click on Fairtrade Coffee to open it up into the page editing environment. Using the Content Finder, I locate the image that will be displayed in the carousel component. This image could be on your page or not. I'm going to type in espresso. And while that's loading, I will go over here and explain where we need to go. So normally in the Sidekick you will see the list of components. We're going to go to this page tab and click on Page Properties. The first tab we're going to look at is Image, and I'm going to click and drag my image over to the image field. In order to make sure that it appears properly in the carousel, we're going to use the crop feature. When I click on crop, I see that I have several options. Let's move that over so we can see that better. There is the 3:2 carousel option. This is for images that are about a third wider than they are tall. If you prefer that your carousel takes up less vertical space on your page, choose the 5:2 wide carousel cropping option, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this out of the way again, and I'm going to click on this so this looks the way I want it to look. After the image is cropped, you have the option of adding a description. This description is located in the Basic tab, and it will appear below the title of the page in the carousel. So if you would like to include description, expand the More Titles and Description tab, and enter a description. Now you can click OK. You should make sure that your description does not exceed 160 characters or 25 to 30 words, or may be cut off in the carousel. To link more than one page, simply repeat the previous steps within the desired page's page properties. You may also link videos, as I mentioned earlier, and step-by-step instructions for this can be found on our CMS help site. So let's say you don't have a page to link yet. I'll show you how to create a new page. Going to the WCM, click on the page in the site hierarchy, or left panel, where the new page would exist. I'm going to add a new events page. Go over here, click New, enter a title and a name. If you leave the name blank, it'll simply configure a URL for you. Now that we've created a new page, let's double click on it and put an image there. So you'll remember we went to Page Properties, double clicked, Go over to the image. No, we have to find an image over here. Click on the image, drag it over. Remember, you must crop it for the carousel. Remember, you can add a caption. Click OK. So even though there's nothing on my page currently, that image will appear in the carousel and link to this page. You can fill it with information later as you want to. The second step is to create the carousel component and set the pages to link to it. So first, open the page that will house the carousel component. Typically this will be your site's home page, but the component can reside anywhere in your site. Let's try putting one on our story. Now that we've found the page we're going to put it on, we drag a carousel component from the sidekick onto the page where you want the carousel to appear. Find carousel and drag. There we go. To edit the carousel component, double click on it. In the Carousel tab, you can use default controls or play speed options or modify them. The carousel component has a number of configuration controls including play speed, transition time, animation, and randomize, as well as CSS class. Let me go over them for you. Play speed sets the time in milliseconds before the next slide is shown. To slow down your carousel slideshow, increase the value of this number, and to speed it up, reduce the value. Transition time sets the amount of time in milliseconds for the transition between two slides to take place. To slow down the transition, increase the value of this number, and to speed it up, reduce the value. Animation, there are two options, slide or fade. Slide moves the slide from right to left. Fade transitions to the next slide without any motion. Randomize, clicking this will randomize the slide order. And finally, CSS class, which allows you to apply a style to the carousel component. You will find all the information you need to do this on our CMS help site. The next important task is to click on the list. Here you can choose between child pages, fixed list, or advanced search. I'm going to click on fixed list and explain the others in a moment. In fixed list, you have to add each page that you would like to be shown in your carousel component individually. To do that, you click Add Item and browse to find the page. I'm going to add a few items. If you selected child pages here instead of fixed list, you could navigate to the parent page and all the child pages under that parent page will appear in your carousel component. Note that the parent page will not appear in the carousel. Click on fixed list as I said, and then click OK. Congratulations! You have created a carousel component. As always, to delete a component, simply hover over the component, right-click, and select Delete. This tutorial covers the key elements of creating and editing a carousel component for your page. Consider reviewing our other videos to make your page fabulous.